Testing. We started a new stream, but we don't know if this is going to work. Content live. And if we go here and we go here, then we have to pop out the chat. All right, Deuteronomy, type some stuff in, Dodes. Type some stuff in there, Dodester. If it comes through, then we'll be in good shape. If not, then I'm completely flummoxed. Back blathering. It's not coming through. Good golly. Well, answer for chat. Maybe, no. Maybe properties. This is annoying. Well, yeah, this something's wrong with OBS, but I just don't know what it is. Chat Ninja's not. This is just not coming through. And so I just don't think we can do it because I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on here. Only thing may be messing with it. No. Oh, now it's coming in. Well, guess what? Now they're coming in. What the hell changed? I don't know. Maybe because I refreshed. All right, well, I did refresh a few things, so now we have the chat. Welcome everybody to the chat. So if you had something cool to say before, but it got lost, well, say it again. All right, we got Chris in here, we got Deuteronomy in here, we got Phil Adams in here. So I was seeing the YouTube chat, but there's a connection between the YouTube chat, which has to be popped out, and OBS software. Phil Adams fixed it. Yeah, maybe. You never know. So Shetty says, all right, let's roll. Great Ben Bowling article on chemtrails. All right, thanks. Yeah, those who don't know, you should be subscribed to the written part of FSPN, where we try to compete a little bit with, the mainstream media and some of these columnists. They got columns. Why can't we have a column? So this is what Doge is talking about right here. For whom the Ben bowls. Jets coaching profile, linebacker coach Benjamin Bowling. So wrote about him. In case you're curious, you can subscribe to Chemtrails at frankiefromflatbush.substack.com. frankiefromflatbush.substack.com. And as you can see, we got lots of articles here. The media is finally changing their tune on the Jets. Cade Klubnik, overlooked gem or overhyped bum. Hell of a haul. All sorts of things. Here's a Jet player profile on D'Angelo Ponce, in case you wanted to know about him. I put this out May 7th, and a couple of days ago, Zach the Hack Rosenblatt puts out a column all about D'Angelo Ponce. Wonder where he got that from. I don't know. But we got all sorts of articles here. There's also the podcast, Frankie from Flatbush podcast, which is just the audio version of the videos. So, we got videos here, we got audio, we got written. It's all over here at Substack, and it's totally free. frankiefromflatbush.substack.com. Check it out. Put in your email. Comes right into your email. Goes right across borders. Goes right into Phil Adams. Doesn't matter that he's in England, or someplace like that. It goes right into the inbox, mate. Oh, by the way, Phil Adams. Speaking of Phil Adams, I bookmarked something. I wanted to show Phil Adams. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Phil Adams. Can we make this any bigger? Oh, yeah. Here it is. I wanted to see if Phil Adams had seen this thing. And good video from Bowling, too. Yeah, Bowling. So sometimes in our articles we include, videos that these people have done. In case of Bowling, a teaching video. Mac Styles is here. But Phil Adams, this is a pub. What they call in England a pub. Let's get a point at the pub. But it's called the Royal Oak, and it was built in 1540. 1540. And I wanted to see if Phil Adams had ever gone to this place called Royal Oak Pub, built in 1540. Can you imagine? That's a lot of years ago. And it's sitting there in England, and we got Phil Adams over here. And so I thought, let's ask old Phil if he's ever been to the Royal Oak for a point. I mean, this must be a famous place. You must know about it, Phil. I mean, you don't have a big country. I'm sure you know all of the historic things. But, we don't really have pubs from the 1500s here. But what we do have is chemtrails, frankiefromflatbush.substack.com. See now, Phil. Oh, here it is. All right. Not that one, but Royal Oak is popular bane and have one about 2 minutes away. Well, you got to go to the one that was built in 1500, Phil. I mean, what the heck's wrong with you? You don't just go to any one. You go to the one that was erected in 1540. It's a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Popular name. Well, what about the one in 50? Look, man. Like when I was in New York, okay, you go to these, what do you call them? Watering holes, all right? And they got one that was a speakeasy, and all of the great writers of all time would go there. F. Scott Fitzgerald and J.D. Salinger and Ernest Hemingway, all these people, right? They got one of those. So you go there and you have a few drinks, and you go home with your lady and you think you're all hot stuff. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not just supposed to go to any pub that's 2 minutes away. That ruins the whole point. You go to the famous place and you feel like you're a part of history. Phil likes the newer models. Yeah, but the newer models are not history. You got to go to the place where Dylan Thomas wrote a famous poem or something. You know, I'm sure a lot of things were happening in that pub in 1547. Who knows what they were up to in the 1500s? And you could sit in the same place these other people were at. But no, you got to go to some, place 2 minutes away. Well, who says they even have plumbing? You want to take a leak, you go outside. You know what I mean? Go fertilize the plants and whatnot. I'm not worried about the plumbing. You go there, you have a pint, you take a leak. Go outside like they used to do in the 1500s. You know? Flatbush Dre is here. Deuteronomy says, yeah, and they had cholera also. Phil says that Royal Oak in Dorset is 200 miles away. All right, well, you make a trip out of it. Go, you take the little wifey. You stay at a hotel and you make a whole a weekend out of it. Hey, let's go to this historic place. Let's have a special time. We could have a beer or two. For God's sakes. It's not like you have to travel all across the United States. You got a little tiny country over there. 200 miles, it's no problem. You're talking about what, 3-4 hour drive? Big deal. Stay at a hotel. You go, you have your fun with the wifey. You bring her back to the hotel and do your husbandly duties. And then you go home the next day. What's the problem here? Yeesh. JoJo's here. I bet you JoJo wouldn't have no problem going to a 1500s pub. I'll tell you that much. So Shetty says, the plague? Back in the day, conjures up Monty Python, bring out your dead. Yeah, well, look, you don't have to. I'm sure that they've modernized it to some degree. They're not sitting around with jars of bubonic plague sitting on the bar. You know what I mean? I'm sure they've cleaned it a time or two. Why not? And yet, Phil Adams refuses to go to these historic places. Oh, it's too far away. I can't drive 4 hours away. Why not? That's what you have a car for. This isn't horse time. It's not like you got to get on a horse and make your way through the forest. You just drive there. They got roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads, somebody once said. So I guess the latest news in the NFL as of about an hour ago, the Arizona Cardinals and quarterback Jacoby Brissett are quote-unquote significantly far apart in negotiations to rework the last year of his contract for 2026. The gap in the negotiations puts into question whether Brissett, who has yet to report to Arizona's voluntary offseason program, will attend next week's voluntary OTAs. Well, it's still voluntary. That's from Josh Weinfuss. Josh Weinfuss, Cardinals reporter for ESPN. And then Jeremy Fowler adds that Brissett has been prepared to miss the OTAs, absent a new deal. We'll see if that changes, but he's bracing to miss time. Fowler is told. That's probably from the agent. So, what does that mean for us? Probably not much. But it is interesting, a quarterback floating around out there. JoJo says, I love road trips. Yeah, exactly, JoJo. You put the wifey in the car. Women, they love road trips. Everybody knows that. For the most part. Not everyone, but They are very posh in Dorset. People from the north won't be welcome down there. Oh, you got every excuse in the book, Phil Adams. What is this? The 1800s? What are they going to do? Chop off your head? You walk in there like a proper gentleman. The hell's wrong with you? Oh, they're not going to like me down there. There might be a proper dust-up, mate. Oh, fuck that. Walk in there and you say, I'm Philip fucking Adams. Who the fuck is going to talk shit to me? Not one of you pussies. That's what you got to do. Sadiq, Giants riddled with injuries. Yeah, they got hit with... they got a bad one. One of their D tackles got Achilles problem. Out for the year. No good. And they were already weak at defensive tackle. But we don't really talk about the Giants on this channel, Sadiq. The Giants are just another team. Just another one of the 31 other teams that are not the Jets. It really has no impact on us. And also, news came out about Neighbors may not be ready. So that guy's been nothing but injuries since he got to the league. So that's bad. Matthew Stafford got paid. Yeah. So Matthew Stafford got his extension. So now they have Matthew Stafford for another 2 years, this year and next year. And that means 2 years where they're not going to know anything about Ty Simpson. So they took a guy in the first round that 3 years from now maybe takes over. So that sort of thinking could pay off, but it's awfully risky. This is exactly the reason I didn't think they would pick Ty Simpson. If you remember, I was like, yeah, they might like him, but are they really going to burn a first-round pick on a backup? Guy's going to have to be a backup for 2 years? Because they could have got a really good player. They could have got Ruben Bain. They could have got, so many guys. Venga Ioane. They could have got all these guys there. Instead, they got a backup quarterback that they're hoping long-term takes over for Stafford. So it's a long-term play with a first-round asset. It's a little risky. Could pay off in the end, especially if they compete or win a Super Bowl one of these next 2 years. Then it's like, well, we had the team anyway, so who cares? But if they don't, that's a little questionable. Yeah, all you got to do is wear an ascot, and you'll fit right in with the posh crew. Well, or you could just go in there, you just go in there and just command respect with your presence and say, hello, my name is Philip Adams. I'm here to chew gum and kick some ass, and I'm all out of chewing gum. That'll get their respect. Sometimes you just have to announce your presence with authority. Yeah. Just got to tell them who's boss, Phil. But yeah, I saw that and I said, I bet you my friend Phil Adams has gone to this place. And it turns out, nope, no way. Too far away for old Phil. It's too far away and it's too posh for him and this and that. So that's what's going on there. Sadiq right now is looking like the number one commenter on the leaderboard. So some of you have some work to do to catch up to Sadiq. He's number one. I got JoJo number 3, tied with Phil Adams. The Dodster's number 2. No, now it says Phil Adams is number 2, Dodster number 3. So I guess this is changing. They should really figure out a way to... Oh. This is like, they do have a leaderboard here. But you got to click it. Oh, maybe there'll be a good way to show that. Filled it, yeah. But, I mean, there could be a leaderboard. Yeah, it's weird, right? Here's a leaderboard. It shows Sadiq number 1. Just Win SB Who's this? Just win SB before I die, number 2. Then JoJo, then Phil, then Deuteronomy, then Flatbush Dre, Chris, Mac. Who's just win SB before I die? So I think they show different, like not necessarily the screen name. Chat point system is weird. Super chats rule the day always. Yeah, but we don't have any of those, so you guys are all on equal footing as far as that goes. But who's just wins? Why is just win SB before I die number 2? That's pretty strange. I don't see that username with any comments. I bet the over. Yeah, hopefully you win a lot of money, JoJo. Because I'm going to do the same thing. Probably. Not that I'm a betting man, but when you see things, must be undercover. I don't know, but if he's not putting any chats in there, why is he number 2 on the board? It seems kind of crazy. A pint of bitters. Yeah, grab you a pint of bitters. Yeah, why not? But that kind of feature could be really cool if YouTube would just give you some tools to work with. What kind of tools are they giving the creator? It's kind of like on the posts that I do for the members. I can't even bold the text. I can't italicize it or anything. There's no rich text. They don't even give you a rich text editor. It's so dumb. I mean, this is YouTube. They're one of the biggest, they're owned by Google and Alphabet, one of the biggest companies in the world. They make so much money, it's not even funny. They can't even give you a rich text editor? What are we talking about? JoJo says, I don't even see that username in the chat. Yeah, neither do I. So, but somehow it got the number 2 spot by being not present. It's so stupid. So that's where we really are. Let me know if there's really no news to talk about. So now that we have the chat working, hopefully we won't jinx it. Let me know if there's any topics specifically that you want addressed. This has been a slow week as far as news is concerned for the Jets. No real transactions beyond signing Tim Patrick a little while ago. Might get some more transactions next week as they do another week of OTAs, I think, next week. So, they may decide, hey, let's get rid of this guy. Let's bring in that guy. But other than that, we could just focus on the chat and see if there's any topics on your mind in the chat. Phil Adams says, bitters is an Australian soft drink. Bitter is ale in the UK. We've got to get some ale. Get myself some ale. All right? Get a pint at the pub by myself. Any plans for Seth Ryan? Yeah, why not? That'd be a good one. We'll do one on Seth Ryan. We'll do one on the Stanford Smarties that we got. Maybe we'll combine all the Stanford kids that we got along with Frank Reich. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, we'll do a Seth Ryan article. That'd be good. Talk about Rexy. You could talk about Buddy Ryan. Just sign a veteran. Now, maybe they really like Leggy Lenny Krieg. I don't know. But I don't know, man. I would just go sign Carlson or McManus or somebody like that. Hi, Karate is here. Well, you missed all the fireworks, Karate. Well, we couldn't see the chat, so you got here just in time. Just in time. I actually hope Leggy Lenny is really good. That would be nice. Young guy. Get him on the cheap. Sign him to a nice cheap 4-year deal. Maybe he's one of these guys that comes out of nowhere and he's really good. But on the other hand, I wouldn't mind a proven guy either. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if I do the research on Seth Ryan, if there's any quotes around. One of the things I realized as I started writing these columns, what's the difference between, Zach Rosenblatt sitting in the press room when all these people are asking these guys questions, and the player gives an answer and gives all these answers, right? And then 2 weeks later, Rosenblatt will write an article about that player and he'll use the quotes that came out of that session. But Rosenblatt wasn't the one who asked all the questions, right? Somebody else asked a question and it was, then he gave his answer. Well, what's the difference if I use those quotes? What, you have to be sitting in the room? No, I could use those quotes as much as anybody. I have access to the press conference. I can go back and make sure I get the quote right, exactly right. You know what I mean? So what's the difference? I could write so and so. I'm writing a point of view about this, that, or the other thing, and then here's a quote that supports it that comes out of the press conference. It's the same thing that Rosenblatt does. Why can't I do it? What's the difference? Except I'm a better writer than he is, and I know more about football than he does. The only difference, he works for the Athletic and I don't. So what? Yeah, Shetty says, ginger beer for me, lads. Been on the wagon for 38 years now. Well, congrats to you. Hey, whatever gets you through the night, man. Ginger beer, caffeinated soda, whatever you need. Oh, this is why Phil Adams really doesn't want to go to the bar. That's why. Last drink in 1978. He's not gonna have a beer in a pub if he hadn't had a drink since 1978. Jeez, coming up on an anniversary in a couple of years. Yeah. The drinking's kind of stupid, isn't it? What's the point of drinking? A lot of people are not drinking anymore. It's a big story. It seems like alcoholic beverage sales are way down. People just really don't want to drink anymore. They're starting to realize how unhealthy it is for you. So it's looking like we're not going to get very much news this weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, after all. And the Jets are not going to be doing anything on the field, or so I would doubt there's many, if any, transactions that occur. So we'll have to, figure out some other kind of content. Phil Adams, why does Vegas? Well, we talked about this in the last video. Not a lot of people watch that video, unfortunately. But the main reason is Geno Smith. Public perception of Geno Smith, not good right now. Public perception of the Jets defense, not good. Public perception of Aaron Glenn, not good. So it's really public perception. Because remember, Vegas it doesn't need to be accurate. Vegas just needs people to bet. So they have to figure out really what is the public. Now, a lot of times the public perception and reality is right on the money, right? People know kind of what the Rams are. People know what the Bills are, really. People know what some of these teams are. But the Jets, with Geno, after he had such a bad year last year with the Raiders, one of the worst team in the NFL by far, terrible, terrible situation. So he doesn't have a great year, and he's coming here, and we didn't have a great year, and our defense was horrible, and people, are not high on Aaron Glenn. So therefore, the line is just 5.5. Where do you think they're going to put it? If they put it at 8.5 or something, nobody's going to bet that. They gotta thread the needle of public perception to get a lot of betting on both sides of the bet. That's what they're looking for, is volume of betting. That's all they care about. Now, like I said, a lot of times the public perception and the reality are the same. People know what a team is and they feel comfortable. Yep, that's what they are. Okay, we know what they are. They've had solid, they've had the same head coach or they have the same really good QB for multiple years. They know what they are. But the Jets, not the case. So it is what it is. But like I said in an article on chemtrails, and like I said in that video, it's a good betting opportunity if you feel like gambling, if you feel like putting a little money down. It's probably a decent, wager to take just because we feel like there's a much better chance of the Jets being much better than that than people think. So that's an opportunity if you have the money to bet, of course. Sal, man, he's part of the inner circle. He said, last drink I had was during the Legion of Boom Super Bowl. So that was a long time ago as well. So a lot of people giving up drinking. Dead zone time. Yep. One goal should be to go 4-2 in our division. It's possible. Oh, yeah, it's totally possible. All we got to do is beat the Dolphins twice and split with the Bills and Packers. Just win one versus the Bills, one versus the Patriots. I mean, so there's your 4 wins. That's not hard. I mean, it's more likely we do 3-3. Because beating the Bills twice. But then again, the Bills are the last game of the year, and God only knows what their situation is going to be. They may be keeping everybody on the bench. You never know. So, well, it depends on where you're putting your bet. Like Kalshi. So, I like to use Kalshi. Now, I'm not a big bettor or anything, but I like Kalshi because Kalshi, KALSHI.com, is not a market maker, really. It's, or they're not the house, right? They don't care who wins or loses. They just care that 2 people take each side of a bet, and then they take their cut, right? So the house can't really win if you're Kalshi, because the house is going to win always for them by them taking the cut of the bet, right, on each side. So as long as people are betting, Kalshi doesn't care. You're not betting against Kalshi. Whereas if you go to the bookmakers, you're betting against the bookmakers, right? So Kalshi, for example, has individual games. Well, let's take a look at it. Got nothing else to do. Kalshi, look at right here. Kalshi has these individual games. So here's like the first game of the year. So Seattle is heavily favored. So if you click this and you put in, what did you say, Phil, $100? So here's $100. You would win 143 if you're on yes, Seattle. But if you sell that and basically buy New England, who's not favored, it says, okay, I got to somehow go to no. Can this change to no? Buy no New England. Or yes, New England is what I want, actually. So here's a good, right? So if you thought New England was a much better shot at winning because they're underdogs here, all right, first game of the year, they're pretty significant underdogs. So you lay down $100, you're going to win about 300. That's a nice little payout, right? So if you were a New England fan, you're like, Drake May is going to be so much improved, and we got a better offensive line, and we're going to get, A.J. Brown. So let me put in this bet now, because right now we don't have A.J. Brown on our team, but we're going to get him, right, in a week or two, and we'll have A.J. Brown, and our offensive line is going to be better than last year, than the Super Bowl, so they're not going to be able to kill us like they did in the Super Bowl. And you'd go, all right, put down 100, I make about 300, right? So that's one thing. But then Kalshi also has, I think they're going to have, like, making the playoffs. See, like, we're 50-50 here in our first game. So 51 Tennessee, 4. I mean, see, like, this wouldn't be a good bet to make, though, right? 51-49. You're not going to make enough money to really justify putting any money down. But if they have something like making the playoffs, Joe Burrow's next team. So they have weird stuff here, and you just have to see where the money is. And the thing about these things is like who's betting which side of the bet is what drives these odds. Cincinnati total wins, Cleveland total wins, Dallas, Denver. So they do have total wins. Let's see if they have the Jets total wins. They should. New York Jets total wins. So you could go, here it is. 5+ wins, 50% chance. 6+, 7+, 8+. Here's a good bet. If you think they're going to go 8+, you're going to, that's pretty good. Win $358. So that's where you have to look for these opportunities where you think the odds are way better than public perception, right? The public's telling you, no way. There's a 29% chance the Jets have 8+ wins. That's what this is telling you. So if you think this is much higher, well, maybe that's a place to put your money. $100 wins you $358 right now. If you want to go higher, 9+ wins, right? That'll win you $435. So different markets are going to have different stuff. Indy Jets is here. He thinks we're going 4-0 to start the season off. So, he should be putting some money down here. Just looked at Jets to win games with a UK bookmaker. Odds are 3-1. Phil Adams, 8 games. Yeah, so here they're giving you a little better. Right, if you go 10+ wins, I mean, it's a 99% chance. This says there's a 99% chance. See, like this would be something I might do. 10+ wins. Put down $100, you can win $556. Put down $200. Obviously, you're going to double that. Win $1,100 on a $200 bet. That's pretty good. I mean, if you have $200 laying around that you don't need, of course. Never gamble if you don't have extra money laying around. As we shouldn't need to say that, but like this is the type of bet I would make. If I had a spare $200, if I just had $200 extra dollars, because now I think it's possible we win 10 games, but would I say it's probable? I don't know. I think we're going to be better than people think, but I also don't know how good or exactly how good our defense is going to be. It's the first year with Reich and Gino and And this is the market rules. If the NYJ pro football team, that's the Jets, wins at least 10 games, See, like this is a good bet to me. Not that I think it's going to definitely happen, but if you're going to put down a bet, you got to win some money. Then the market resolves to yes. So this is something I might do, actually. If I'm going to put down a bet, if I'm going to put down a couple $100, I want a payout. Plus, the other nice thing is you put $200 down now, as long as you have it extra. You're going to forget all about it. The money, that is. I mean, you'll keep in mind that you have this bet placed, but it'll be like, if it comes true, it'll be like found money in next year. All this talk of not drinking made me thirsty. So I'm having a Jungling. But I only drink a beer a month or so. All right, you say so. That would have been nice to know before I got married the first time. Was a bad gamble. Yeah, well. Yes, to win 10 games, 9-1 in the UK. 9-1? So that's even better odds. See, so Phil's getting better odds even than Kalshi will give. Or no, it's about 99 to 1. It's about the same. It's about the same. Or so. So, yeah. But that's what I would look for. Because that's why I keep saying that's an opportunity. I think Gino's going to be, this is my logic. I think, tell me what you guys think about this. I think we're going to have a top 5 special teams. I think we're going to have a top 10 offense. And we're going to have a top 20 defense. What do you think about that? Now, here's why I think we're going to have a top 10 offense, scoring-wise. Because if you give Frank Reich a good quarterback, he gives you a top 10 offense. That's his history. If you protect Gino well enough, he will be a good quarterback. So all we got to do is protect Gino, and we have enough weapons. There's not a problem with weapons either, and a good run game. And if you protect Gino, and he has enough weapons, etc., he's a good quarterback. If you give Frank Reich a good quarterback, he gives you a top 10 offense. I think all those conditions, and if all predicate conditions of an outcome are met, the outcome is guaranteed, correct? If all predicate conditions of an outcome are in place, then the outcome is guaranteed to happen. Isn't that true? And so if one predicate condition, if you protect Gino, he's a good quarterback. Check, we're going to protect him, I think. If you give Frank Reich a good quarterback, he gives you a top 10-ish scoring offense. So with Gino being a good quarterback, predicate condition met, chink. So therefore, top 10-ish, if we come in 12th, whatever, something. 12, 13, 11, 10, 14, 9, in there, in that range. Top 10-ish offense. It's guaranteed. If all the predicate conditions are met of an outcome, then that outcome must be guaranteed, correct? That's just like a law. That's just the law. Sign me up for that right now. Top 10-0 and top 20D would make for a fun season. Right. And don't forget a top 5 special teams. Don't forget Coach Banjo. And that way, if it's a top 5 special teams, a top 10 offense, and a top 20 defense, we're fighting for our lives for a playoff berth, I think. And I don't see why that's so far-fetched. Fletch says, we don't have a field goal kicker. Well, the good thing, Fletch, is the season doesn't start right now. And second of all, we do have 2 field goal kickers, actually. One I'm not too excited about. The other one I think could be good, Leggy Lenny. But we got plenty of time to kick to get a good kicker, so I wouldn't worry about it. Point of interest is Just Win, still number 2 in the chat league table. I don't know what this means. Oh. Now that we've had more come in, well, let's take a look. Top fans, yeah, Just Win. And it's interesting. It gives you guys XP, like in a video game. Like Sashedi has 75 XP. And so does JoJo and Phil and Indy Jets and Deuteronomy. You guys all have 75 XP. And so does Just Win Super Bowl Before I Die. 75 XP. And it's not changing. It'd be cool if this number were changing. If you chatted more, you would get more XP, right? Then it says Flatbush Dre has 50. Chris BCBNY Jet Fan has 25. High Karate has 25. Fletch has 25. Max Styles 25. Salman 25. So it says you should get more XP the more you chat, and the more live, and the more you give super chats. But it doesn't seem to be updating at all, and all the people who are chatting more are not getting more XP. So this is a great idea by YouTube. You'd think that they could, I don't know, figure out how to make things work Technologically, they're supposed to be some big tech company. Yeah? These bums. It's crazy. Like, this would be so cool if it was just live updating everybody's XP based on how much activity you had. And the idea should be that you're encouraging more and more activity, right? Like, you're rewarding people who chat more, who give more super chats, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not even doing that. It's just not even updating. Everybody just has 75, and all the top people have 75, and that's it. And it doesn't move. It's just sitting there. So dumb. It's so weird how Google can't even operate can't operate like a company that has some operational skills. What the frick? What is XP? Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, you don't even know what it is. XP in like video games means experience points. And like in a video game, if you have more XP, then that means you can do more things. You're more powerful, you're faster, whatever it is. So it's a common thing in video games to have XP, and the more stuff you do in the game, the more XP you get, the more, villains you kill, et cetera, et cetera. But in this, and how it's supposed to work here is the more, it even says it has an explainer, and it says the more people chat and the more super chats they give, the more XP they get. Okay, sounds good. But you guys, the XP has stayed the same this whole time. Sachetti's number one over here, 75 XP. And same thing for Just Win and JoJo and Phil and Indie Jets and Deuteronomy. And then Dre's got 50, and then all these other people have 25. So it just makes no sense. They have a system that's stupid. Great, you created a system. All right. But now let's make it not stupid and make it actually good. Stupid people. Can somebody run this company who knows what they're doing? God's sakes. Yeah. So that's what's going on a Friday night. XP in the chat. So that's what's happening. Whew. Well, it's been a long hour. So we'll put out final call for questions, comments, concerns. In the meantime, I'll put in another plug for chemtrails. Frankie from flatbush.substack.com. Check it out. Lots of articles written by yours truly. For whom the Ben bowls. You may not know about Ben Bowling. Benjamin Bowling. Who is he? Where did he come from? What kind of experience does he have? What should we expect from Mr. Bowling? Bowling. Well, this article will tell you. And as Phil Adams mentioned, look, as an explainer, here's old Quincy Williams talking about his old linebacker coach and not talking very nicely about him. And then some explainer information, and then here's old Ben Bowling with his teaching and whatnot. How good of a teacher is he? Well, if you watch this video, you'll learn how good of a teacher he is. So forth and so on. And we got all kinds of articles written by me that have all sorts of stuff in them that you might enjoy reading about. Comes right into your email inbox. Frankie from flatbush.substack.com. You don't even have to do anything. It just comes right into your email inbox whenever I release a new article. It goes right in there. It's a beautiful thing. If you enjoy this writing. Coffee with Frankie. Yeah, there will be coffee with Frankie on Sunday, regardless of if we have news or not. And Hefe's been listening while driving. Chat with y'all Sunday. All right, well, we'll see you on Sunday. Definitely keep your eyes on the road. Hefe, don't get into any kind of an accident. We don't want to hear about 17-car pileup in Arizona with a Hefe, and then the cops come and she says, "Oh yeah, I was listening to Frankie, and now the cops will come to me and say, 'What was your role in this accident, sir?' And I will say, I had nothing to do with it. And they'll say, well, that's not what Hefe said. You know. So let's be safe out there, Hefe. I don't want the Arizona police knocking on my door asking for a statement. Yeah, I had nothing to do with it. I told her to drive safely. That's what I said. You can look at the tape, Mr. Policeman. Okay? Leave old Frankie alone. All right? Yeah, like Phil Adams is saying here, be safe. Take it easy. You can always watch or listen to the show later. By the way, because of Substack, we also have a podcast. Who knew we had a podcast? Well, when you post videos on Substack, which we do, it goes into podcast form also in the audio. So if you want to listen in the car, like old Hefe was doing, well, you might want to try the audio version. Now, you can't do that live, of course. It'll be afterward. But all the videos I make, almost all of them, I post to Substack, and then the audio goes right into the podcast. So you can get old Frankie in podcast form. Perfect. Phil, they're not going to come to your house in England and ask you about witnessing an accident in Arizona. All right? That's not going to happen, Phil. You know, that's a little suspect. Why do you, young lady? Why do you have a witness here from Berkshire, England? Oh, well, he witnessed it, Your Honor. He witnessed it from Tottenham, England. Oh, yes. He was looking at the security camera. Oh, well. All right. Well, that'll do it for this Friday night. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for staying with me during the technical issues. Sorry about that. Don't know what the heck happened. But sometimes with technology, stuff happens. We'll be back Sunday, 10 a.m. Coffee with Frankie, 10 a.m. Eastern Time in the eastern part of the United States. 10 a.m. Coffee with Frankie. I'll see you